circumstances other which you left the stage in 1993. The last word we heard from you until you wrote a book was that this election is inconclusive. And the Professor Nwosu that everybody knows to be erudite and very charismatic and had laid down a very powerful political process disappeared from public view. What happened to you after the election on June 12, 1993?
I didn't disappear. Part of the problem was that of the media too. Let me explain the process. From June 16, 1993. Remember, we were promised that if that election was conducted to be free and fair, accepted by international observers and local observers, that we would be given national honors. So my colleagues were also working hard as Nigerians. So when, according to our efforts, you knew all the problems, all the restrictions, in spite of all that, June 12 came. The election was conducted, it was peaceful, materials were distributed all over Nigeria promptly in all difficult terrain because of arrangement and logistic preparation we put in place. So when the results started coming in, June 13, 14, in fact it was to be concluded around June 17, 18. The other party, NRC, had even congratulated SDP for winning. Suddenly, there was a letter served on me by Commissioner of Police that we should cease forthwith in releasing the results. I summoned on June 16 emergency meeting of the commission. All the results had come in with the exception of that of Taraba, which the resident electoral commissioner from Delta, Professor Sada, was on his way to bring. We would have released the result about June 17. So they said, stop. I was served. In fact, I was called in a meeting of National Defense and Security Council and said, would you release this result without knowing? I said, that's the law. There was no provision of the highest ruling military body to vet the result. The law says that the result should be announced at each level. The polling station level, ward headquarters, local government, state, and finally, their conclusion at headquarters. In fact, almost every person, owing to the communication system we put in place, could even collate to know that Abiola had won. Now, with that, my commission met and we decided that we would challenge that ruling by court, Abuja High Court, because it's Commissioner of Police that served it. And when the next step was I was summoned at the level of the National Defense Security and Defense Council.
Headed by Babangida?
Babangida and Abacha was prominent. They said, okay, that a committee headed by Abacha should find a solution to the problem. How do we find the problem? We should be allowed to conclude what we started to say. Abacha, in that committee, I'm quoting names. Abacha was in it. Nyako, Nyako was in it. General Aliyu Gusso was in it. David Mark was in it. Was the Minister of Communication. I was in it. Secretary of the Commission, Director of Legal Services was in it. Professor Deria, National Commissioner representing River State. When we met in Abacha's house, guest house in Abuja, he set another subcommittee, including myself, Akpambo, late now, Akilu, the Secretary of the Commission, I think one other advisor-in-law in State House. When we got at that subcommittee level, I told them, gentlemen, there is nothing for us to meet. The law is clear. Elections have been conducted. Results have been collected. The only one remaining is that of Taraba. And he had come along with it. Please allow us to conclude. We are a technical body. We are not politicians. In any case, if you don't want us to release the result, you should call Abiola and Tofa or negotiate with Abiola. That Abiola was the winner. Well, you know, military. The military personnel in it said, okay, you report, you are the chairman of the commission. We went back to Abacha's guest house and I reported, well, sir, the law that allowed us to conclude this election made no provision for this technical body, for your committee. You should allow us to conclude the result with that of Taraba and announce it. Or you call in Abiola and negotiate with him. He shouted on me, who are you to tell us what to do? You are not a member of National Defense and Security Council. You are not. The council and the court decided you should not conduct the election. You went ahead and conducted the election, that it was illegal. You will recall, throughout Abacha's regime, his Minister for Information regarded our election as illegal. He said, well, you are not a member. Go to Aso Rock, where all of us will now take a decision. What will happen? Call all your national commissioners. I was to call my secretary to invite all my national commissioners to come to Aso Rock. It was David Mark. He was then the Minister of Communication, who called, he used mobile. That's when the mobile was starting. He called myself, Andrew Mana. I'm mentioning them. You all wanted at Aso Rock. We went there. Here was a full meeting.
Which date was that?
Was around 18 yes, all this 18 June. When we got there, Babangida said, NEC, National Electoral Commission, what is your position on this election? I answered. I said, sir, allow us just 2 minutes so that it will not be Humphrey Nwosu's decision. It will be that of National Electoral Commission. He said, okay, 2 minutes. We went to one of the rooms. He said, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we don't have anything to do with politics on this.